So here we are. After starting in the 10th tier of English football, we're about to make our debut in the Vanarama National League. That's the 5th tier, which is not only the highest non-league division you can get, it means that we've just passed the halfway point of getting to the Premier League, which, I'll be honest, it still feels we're like maybe only 10% of the way there, but I'm buzzing to be where we are at the very least. Now, I'll admit we really did fluke the league title last season. We had no right getting promoted in the way we did. South Shields led the entire season and absolutely bottled it at the end. But the pre-season preview of this season really does reflect that, because we are widely tipped for relegation, and this season could be a real struggle. Despite that, we've managed to refresh the squad with a number of new additions. I mean, I will be honest, from what you're about to see in this video, just know there was probably another 40 or 50 players that we agreed a contract with that then decided to go somewhere else, which was incredibly frustrating. But let's get caught up on all of that, and then we'll kick off our league campaign with a game against Gateshead. Let's get into it. So we're starting this episode off with an exit. Cade Ratchford's leaving the club. He's actually going to Chorley, who have just been promoted with us. So he's going to be playing against us next season, which I do hope it doesn't come back to bite us. But I do think, looking at him, we've just got so many better options than him in the squad. You know, with Archer and Morehouse around, Ratchford is not really going to get a fair shake of it. Like, if he was happy, would I keep him around and use him as a rotation option? Yes, more than likely. But we're constantly getting offered midfielders that I've not been going for because we've had Ratchford and Helliwell and Tessier towards the end of the season. So I don't think we're going to struggle to get someone who's better than him on the books. Fingers crossed that will be the case. I suppose we'll have to see later in this video. I don't know if this is something to do with the code in a Football Manager, but obviously in the last few seasons we've played Sheffield Wednesday, Doncaster Rovers and Walsall in the FA Cup games. But since then, Walsall have decided to partner with us as a senior affiliate. Doncaster Rovers have just offered me a job interview, and now Sheffield Wednesday have offered me a job interview. I'm not getting offered really any job interviews from like the Football League too much, apart from clubs that I've played already. So like I say, I don't know if that's part of the coding, that like maybe they know more about the club and me because of their interactions. I don't know. It's just something I was thinking about, so I hit record. Weird. So our first actual signing of the off-season comes through. Talon Shepherd, we've had him on loan for a season. He's now agreed to join us permanently. His contract was expiring. I thought, why not? He was an important part of the team last season, so it makes sense to give him the option. He played 39 games for us last season, only a 6.86 average. But when I'm looking at players at the moment to sign, a lot of them are wanting £400, £500 a week. So I feel like to be able to bring Talon Shepherd in on 180, I mean, it does make him one of the higher paid players at the club at the moment, but I'm sure that's going to change soon. And even if he's ends up more of a rotation option, I get this down to, you know, like regular starter or squad player. I think that's well worth the money personally. And one thing that I didn't actually notice is that Walsall have been relegated from League 2 last season. So we're going to be in the same division. So our link with them is actually going to be terminated. That is a little unfortunate because obviously we've had Tessier this season from them, and he has been very good for us when he's played. You know, he's not been a first choice option, but I was going to try and maybe get him back again next season, but there is absolutely zero chance of that happening because they're not going to be affiliated with us anymore. Brilliant. Season expectations are in. We don't really have much customization options here, to be honest. Attempt to avoid relegation is our only option in the Vanarama National League. FA Cup, they want us to get to the first round. That makes sense. I think we might come in at the fourth qualifying round. So we just need to get past our first opponents, who should be from a lower division. So that should be very realistic. FA Trophy, third round minimum or fourth round minimum. It adds an extra 19 quid to our wage budget and 120 quid to our transfer budget. I think we can get to the fourth round of this. Ideally, I'd like to go quite deep in this competition this season. Depends on the draw, obviously, but we've done well in past seasons. We've got to the fifth round last season, and if we improve this season, it's not unrealistic to think we could do that again. But, you know, raising expectations for such a minimal extra amount of transfer budget and wage budget, it just really isn't worth it, so we're just not going to bother with that at all. So we're just going to stick with what it's recommended. Yeah, the link has been terminated with Warsaw. We knew that was coming. We had a new average attendance record going up to 418 from 177. So that is a massive jump, and you'd expect it to jump again with us going into the National League. So that's only good for us. It's going to result in more money coming into the club. And we receive 4,000 TV rights for the coming season, which, I mean, it's not a huge amount of money, but just being given money for TV rights, that's a first. And the fixture list is out, and we are playing Gateshead first, so that will be the game later today. Well, this isn't really what I wanted to have happen. So Callum Archer, our star creative midfielder, has had 2 offers in from Birmingham City and West Brom, both for the Championship, and he's going to become unsettled if he's not allowed to speak to at least one of them. I think on the plus side, they're both, gone quite low on his value, so I think I might be able to talk him out of it on that level. Birmingham City have offered 42.5 up front, another 40 grand a year for the next 2 seasons, and 5,000 per appearance for his first 10 games, which I'm not too comfortable with that one because I just, there's always a chance he's not going to play. West Brom have offered a similar deal, 31,000 up front, 20,000 per season for the next 2 years, 35 grand after 20 league appearances, and 6,750 for each of his 10 games. This one is less appealing. We're not guaranteed a lot of this money, so I think I'm going to be rejecting that one. But yeah, I'm a little concerned. I might have to try and talk him out of it. You wanted to talk to me about the bids that have come in for me, I'm assuming. I want to leave given the interest that's been shown in me. I hope you're reasonable about it. I'd love to be reasonable, but I love that one of the compromise options are I'm not willing to sell you to a club in the same division. We're in the National League, that both of them are in the Championship. Why is that even there? Imagine how stupid I'd look. Maybe try and get him with a loan back deal. That might be worth an option. So at least to have him for this season. Sell him decent price plus a loan back. That could work. I'm gonna try and say he's not going to meet the valuation because I don't mind him going as long as we get good money for him that can then fund a good replacement because I don't think he's unreplaceable, but he is one of our best players. He thinks he should be worth $750,000. I'm going to see if I can push that up because why wouldn't you try at the very least? 775,000. If someone comes in for him with $750,000, I will let him go quite happily, and that gives me free rein to reject these bids. But to be fair to him, I'm going to try and offer him out for 775. If anyone wants him, they can have him for that, quite frankly. So Piggott and Williams have both left the club. Williams was out on loan. He's not really made many appearances for us overall. Jordan Piggott obviously had a season where he was pretty involved, yeah. Well, 2 seasons, 28 and 29 appearances. Sort of got outclassed by Tanadre, and then now they've both gone. So that's not ideal. Wadham's contract's expired. I'm still occasionally offering him a contract, but he's still wanting like 450, and I'm not willing to pay him that. If he's going to accept under 200, I think I'd let him stay for another season. But I'm definitely looking to bring in someone else and would more have Wadham as a backup. So I don't really want to make him, double the next highest paid player at the club. It doesn't make sense. Same goes for Backwell, really. He's on £100 a week. If he was going to sign for that again, or maybe like 150, I'd probably let him stay for a season. But he also wants a lot more money than that. Shepherd has gone back to his club, but he should be back with us very shortly. And our fitness coach, his contract's run out. I'm going to release him because he's pretty bad and he's on £190 a week. So obviously some good news. Talon Shepherd's deal has finally gone through. And some mixed news because Tonadre has, he's obviously gone to Pato Oisden, but I saw really pleased to have kept him on loan for the rest of the season. And it turns out I have zero understanding of how transfers work with a loan back fee. And he's actually with us for the whole of this season. So we have still got Tanadre on the books. We're not paying his wages. I'm still going to look to bring in another right back and maybe have him as a good backup, just because obviously we haven't got him permanently, so I don't want to make him such a focal point of our season, and I'm not really sure he'll keep up. He was decent last season. He managed a 6.84 rating over 40 matches, but I'm not really that confident of his skills going forward. Bad news, it does take up a loan spot, obviously, but yeah, we have a right back, which is more than I thought we had at this point. We've also got terms accepted with Ashley Knott. I mean, he hasn't confirmed the deal, but we had a successful contract offer at the very least. And I was thinking about bringing him in as a Jack Wadham replacement. He does seem really good, to be honest. Clicking on this makes no difference. He's not been scouted. But just looking at him, I mean, he is pretty spot on. And I'm not 100% sure where to find it on this screen, or if you can. Yeah, personality, model citizen. So he could be incredible for the club. He's agreed wage with us for £400 a week, I think it is. And I think it's going up to £475 at the end of the season, which is a good chunk out of our budget, but I do really think he's worth it. If I just go and compare him to Jack Wadham, actually, I mean, look at that. He's obviously not quite as fast as Wadham, but everything else, he is a massive improvement if he joins. And he's more than twice as good as Jack Wadham as far as I'm concerned, so I'm happy to pay him. Well, actually saying more than twice. He's on nearly 3 times what Jack Wadham was on. but I think he's 3 times the player, quite frankly. So if he does join, that would be fantastic. But I have just looked at the clubs that are in for him, and there's a number of League Two clubs in for him, as well as Stockport and Tranmere in League One. So I think it's very unlikely that he's going to come to us. It would be incredible if it happened, but we'll have to keep an eye on that one. And we've also had an offer accepted for Yaya Bojang here, who is a very good-looking Mazzala. I think he could do a nice number for us. He's actually accepted a contract of just £200 a week, which is nuts cheap for the quality of player you're getting, I feel like. And if we were going to compare him to, like a Jack Morehouse who currently plays the Mazzala role, he's just an upgraded version, to be honest. I mean, Morehouse is one of our key players, and I don't really want to let him go. But having the extra option in midfield would be greatly appreciated, and I'd love to make him a part of the team. And set myself up for a bit more heartbreak, we've also had a contract accepted by Nathaniel Boot here, Ugandan international, but he is English nationality, so doesn't need a work permit. He is pretty fucking good, isn't he? I mean, 16 tackling. I think this might be our first player that's got a useful stat in yellow. That would be nuts. If I compare him to, like a Talon Shepherd who we've just re-signed, I mean, look at that. Look at how steep this mountain is. Comparing him to maybe a Zach Mitchell, maybe. Yeah, he's just a much better defender. And he might not quite have the technical skills that he requires. He's down as a no-nonsense centre-back. But I think he's more than good enough. Like Zach Mitchell's a bit better. You like your dribbling and stuff like that. But he's got better passing. He's got much better mentals everywhere. He's so much better than any defender we've got at the moment. And interested in him, I mean, there is Oldham who are in a league above us. There's every chance that they're going to beat us to his signing, but it is worth a go. I feel like we've got 3 very good offers in here for 3 very good players, and fingers crossed one of them comes through. So very disappointing, but no real surprise. Ashley Knott, the main man that I was after, has decided to go to Grimsby in League One. It's obviously a much better side than us, and while I would have loved to have them, it was never going to happen once the bigger clubs started getting involved. Also, yeah, even more annoying seeing him listed as their hot prospect with 110,000 to 1.1 million as the valuation. That could have been mine. And counter that with a bit of good news, Yaya Bojang is going to be joining us. We've already gone over the attacking midfielders' stats, but I do think he'll be a very good addition to the squad. Just £200 a week. He has got a 40% wage rise. That'll put him up to, 280 next season if we get promoted. But if we get promoted, I'm more than happy to have a player on £280 a week because I'm struggling to find them at this level, quite frankly. So we will take him on quite happily. There you go, confirmation. He is rated as a star player who could still improve, potentially League 2 standard potential. So I am very happy with that. And I think he'll be a great addition to the squad. We'll get Gofford to welcome him, and on we go. Another rejection. Nathaniel Boot has gone to Plymouth Argyle. I was kind of hoping we could have got him. I mean, to be honest, he was probably just a bit too good for us. And I mean, I did up his contract offer quite a bit. I don't remember what his original offer was. I feel like it was 300. But I know I upped it by like 70 or so. But he's going to be on £1,000 a week. So I can't really be surprised that he's gone somewhere else. He felt Plymouth Argyle offered an impressive selection of contract clauses compared to what he expected from them. And the wage that we offered was disappointing compared to what he was looking for from us. Which, yeah, I suppose we're definitely not a team the size of Plymouth Argyle in the Championship. So yeah, no real surprise there. But he was interested in us, and that's one big takeaway we can have from this at the very least. If no one else comes in, he probably would have joined us. I'm not 100% sure I'm going to sign him yet, but I have had a contract offer accepted by Lennon Wheeldon here. He, at first glance, might not look fantastic, as a striker with 11, 10 and 11 in the dribbling, finishing, first touch, holy trinity there. But he's just very good at everything else and a very different kind of player to the strikers we've got at the moment. He's a target forward primarily. If I compare him with the likes of like Yeboah, you can see he's not as good finishing or technically, but he seems to be far better in pretty much anything else apart from speed. But for a bigger player, you don't expect them to be as fast if they're a target man. If you look at attributes though, considering here, you've got 3 separate areas that Yeboah is better than him at. When you look at the attributes, there's not really any comparison between the two of them. Yes, Yeboah is better at dribbling, finishing, first touch. He's got slightly better long throws and technique. Much better composure, fair play, that's quite good. Slightly more flair and off the ball, which, a 10 compared to 11 isn't going to make a huge difference in either of those. But Wheeldon is better in a lot of areas. And I mean, I've been messing around with formations, as I always do in the off-season, and I always come back and try a new one. It doesn't work, and then revert back to the old system. Maybe not the best way of doing things. But I was looking at playing something like this, potentially. because we have got three very good centre mids now, and I'm just looking for a way to get them all involved. Agbenone can play up front. I mean, Birchall is one of our main players, so when Birchall's available and definitely going to be playing, we're almost certainly going to be playing a formation like this, with your Birchall and Agbenone on the wings, probably your Bower up front currently, maybe Wheeldon, we'll have to see. But like, I've got this option as something else that we try sometimes. It's a bit more attacking, like we're going for it, so either we're playing a much weaker team or we're sort of desperate for a goal late on. It's just good to get the tactical familiarity up for it, obviously. But then I was thinking something completely different here, because I started off having all three formations being basically this, or with three centre mids, or with an attacking midfielder. So it was just basically moving this position here, here, or here. But I feel like having three, distinctly different formations for different situations works out pretty well for us. And I think Wheeldon will be a good addition if he joins. And I mean, he's not asked for too much money. I've only offered him £250 a week. There's quite a few bonuses on there. I think he's getting like a £140 appearance fee. That's still not terrible for a player of his quality. But yeah, I'm just going to wait and see if he accepts, and then we'll make a decision if we 100% want him or not, I suppose. And there we go. Lennon Wheeldon has agreed to join us. I am going to delay it for a week or so, just so we can make a final decision, but it's good to know that we've definitely got him as an option. So Agbenone's been kicking off a little bit that he wants a new contract. I've tried to offer him one a couple of times, and he always starts at like £500 requested a week, and I'm not paying him that much, but I finally managed to get him down to 320, and he's accepted that, so hopefully he'll be signing that soon. There's quite a few bonuses on it, but it's all stuff that if he reaches it, I'll be glad for him to get, such as, top goal scorer in division, all stuff like that. If he gets that, I'll quite happily pay, because it will mean we've done very well in the league. But yeah, it looks like he's going to be with us for up to 3 more years. So it is quite an odd situation. I was looking at James Wright, and I was thinking he looks pretty good, to be honest. I compare him to Jackson. And, he's nowhere near as eccentric as Jackson, which is obviously one plus point. He's not quite as physical, but that's probably down to the fact that he's 6'2", Jackson 6'5", so he's always going to be a bit bulkier, let's say. But apart from that, he's better than Jackson. Shot stopping, speed, mentality, communication, level with him on distribution aerial. Looking at attributes, I mean, Jackson's probably got more overall that he's better at, but like if you look at what James Wright is better at, like over here, command of area, handling, kicking, punching tendency, not always the best, but reflexes obviously are big in there. So I was thinking, this guy could come in and could probably give some real competition to Jackson, to be honest. So yeah, I might offer him a contract. He's on £150 a week. If we can get him for under under 250, that would probably be quite a good deal. I offered him a contract, and he's more than happy to join on £90 a week as a backup option. So either I'm missing something completely here, because I think James Wright is a pretty good goalkeeper. I've got no idea what his hidden attributes and stuff are like. They might be absolute dog shit, because I haven't been able to scout him, obviously. But I think he's worth the risk. I mean, at the very least, he's going to be compared to Harry Kant, and he's definitely far better than Harry Kant. So Harry can't compare to that. Let's accept him. 2-year deal. I think that is somewhat of a bargain, to be honest. I've also just had Matthew Litherland here accept a contract. I mean, it hasn't come through that he's going to join us yet, but he is agreed in principle at the very least, and we are the highest team that are interested in him. I was looking at him thinking, why is he on 4.5 stars? He looks decent. I mean, I'm not going to say he's a bad player. He's pretty solid across the board. He's got a few pretty standout stats, obviously. Very good strength, still pretty fast, And the more you look at it, you think, yeah, I think he could probably do a job for us. If I compare him to, I don't know, Zach Mitchell. He's very similar, probably a little bit better, I'd say. Zach Mitchell's slightly edges it on attacking stats, but slightly loses on defensive stats, and they're relatively similar. So I've given him a offer. I mean, I think if he does join, he's going to be coming on about £320 a week. I think it was maybe 300, which I'm not massively against. I think his mentals mean he's going to be a good option for us. I'm not concerned really, and I don't know if I should be. But the other option that we were looking at is Lewis Jackson, who is sort of similar. He's looking to join on loan from Manchester United. If I compare him with Litherland, for instance, Lewis Jackson, they're slightly different types of players. Lewis Jackson's slightly better technical and defending. Litherland's got him beat on speed, mentals, aerial. So it's a bit of a toss-up. Obviously, Lewis Jackson would only be joining for 1 season, but then obviously we're not burdened with his wages for 3 years like we will be with Litherland. So I'm a little unsure what we're going with just at this point. I'm going to wait and see if either of them accept and make a decision from there, I think. But I'd expect for one of them to be our final central defensive signing. We're still desperately looking for a right back, but that has not been easy. Oh, never mind. The second that I make a bid for him, suddenly every club wants to get involved, and he's gone to Boston United in the league below us. That's a dig. I mean, it is almost double what we were offering, but I suppose it can't be helped. Well, never mind. I suppose that makes a decision for us. As for our striker dilemma, the Lennon Wheeldon offer has came back up. Now, I did actually have an offer in for someone else, a loan player from Bournemouth, is it? I think it's Clark. Yep, Ashley Clark. Compare the two. I'm comparing the two. They are very different types of players. Ashley Clark is a poacher, and Wheeldon is a target forward, so they're not too comparable. But obviously, like Ashley Clark has got insane finishing and first touch, but that's kind of all he's got going for him. Pretty much everything else goes in Wheeldon's favour, so I think I'm going to go with Wheeldon over him. I could quite happily have both, but then I would probably have to get rid of two strikers, which I'm fully open to doing, but am I going to be able to? I mean, Backwell, I managed to sign Backwell. I don't know if I think I recorded a clip for it, that I managed to sign Backwell to just one more year for basically the same wage he was on. With these two options coming up, I'm already sort of regretting that. If I compare him to either of them, I mean, again, very different types of players. But Backwell is definitely, he's got much better passing. That's the attacking midfielder in him coming out. Everything else pretty much goes in Wheeldon's favour, or isn't that significantly different. Clark is a million times better than Backwell, I would say. I mean, if they're both willing to join, Clark is joining on loan and I'm not paying any of his wages, so I could always just accept him or we'll cancel the loan if it doesn't work out. But I think I'm going to be accepting Lennon Wheeldon regardless, so welcome to the team, big man. Got a nice B- rating, important player who could still improve, not much potential in the bank, but that's okay. It doesn't say much about our strikers. That I would say the three strikers we've got on our books are Yeboah, Adeyemo and Backwell, and then you look at the reports, and Archer, Wheeldon and Agbenone are listed as our three best strikers. So we definitely do need a bit of a culling going on. But yeah, I am pretty happy with him. He's maybe not going to be the first name on the team sheet either way. He's going to be more of a, we need to switch up our system. So we'll bring him on in the similar way to Devante Morton a few years ago. Although at times, Morton absolutely popped off, but we'll wait to see if Wheeldon follows in those footsteps. So yeah, Ashley Clark has accepted to come on loan to us. We are actually paid some of his wages, but it's only £30 a week, so I think that's kind of worth it, to be honest. So I think I'm going to accept him. We've already got Wheeldon, and I think Yeboah or Adeyemo can stay, the others can go, and I think we'll be pretty well set up for the season, is how I'm picturing things. But we'll have to see if anyone is interested in them, to be honest. And centre-back Lewis Jackson has agreed to come to the club, so we're going to have him and he's going to be our last option. We're paying 10% of his wages as well, which is £170, which is a little bit nuts, but I think it'll probably be worth it. That means we've got all the depth we need at centre-back, and we're not really burdened with long-term wages. So I would say that works out pretty well for us. And Tommy Backwell, despite, I know I did just sign him to a new contract, I really shouldn't have done it, but I had a bit of a panic that we might not be able to get any strikers in, because everyone that I looked at early on was going to be very expensive for us, and I just did not think we'd be able to get anyone. In a desperation move, I gave him another one-year contract, but it looks like the old rivals, both of them actually, are going to be coming in to save us. South Shields want him to be playing up front. They're paying slightly less of his wages, but are giving a £1,000 loan fee. So they're giving us another £100 a month on top. That's extra £25 a week, which basically covers his full loan, and that's his preferred destination. So I think that's going to be what we go with. Warrington are technically giving us like £10 a week less, I guess, even though they're giving us an extra 10% of his wages. We'll give Warrington the ultimatum so they can also compete if they want to match that. But I think he's going to be going to South Shields. So I'm so glad South Shields didn't get promoted with us. So we've got Marley Turnbull going to be joining us, defensive midfielder, only on £100 a week. He's only coming in as a breakthrough prospect, but I think he might be able to do a job in the first team. If we take a look at him, he's okay. He's got fantastic mentals, 16 aggression, 16 determination, good leadership, good bravery, very good ball-winning midfielder stats. He's okay technically and okay physically. To be honest, I was originally going to be signing him because we've had quite a few reports which I'm looking, and all the there you go, report potential League 2 standard, and I thought, he's not going to cost us much, we might as well give it a go. And I mean, looking at his comparison down here, he would be our fifth best option behind, Gofford and Wadham. But then if I do a comparison stat-wise to Wadham, I don't really know where they get that from, because Wadham's faster and is worse in every other department despite being the same role. And if you look at stats, Turnbull has got him beaten very comfortably across the board. So I think it's a pretty good option for us coming in. It might mean that I can get rid of Wadham, as you know, he's on a non-contract still because he hasn't signed a new one with us yet. So yeah, I'm probably going to be looking for one more defensive mid just so we've got good backup. But we've got enough centre-backs that Gofford can also cover there. So we're pretty much sorted through the middle, I think, at this point. But either way, Marley Turnbull, fantastic addition to the squad. And in today's episode of absolutely terrifying news stories that are popping up on my timeline, Lincoln City wants Ajani Birchall and they've offered 10,000 and he's going to be unsettled if he's not allowed to talk to them. So I'm going to talk to him and try and get, at least a higher fee agreed, because I would rate Birchall as probably more important than Archer, and Archer says he's worth 750,000. So if Birchall's wanting to go for, 26,000, 24,000, I would not be impressed at all. So, yeah, I've just received a bid for you from Lincoln FC, and I've been told that you wish to discuss terms. They're a bigger club, and it's a great opportunity for you to move up. They are 11th in League One. It's a new season, but they're in League One, so they are comfortably higher than us. I think you need to think about what a great place this is to play football. Let's give it a go. Okay, right. What's his evaluation going to be? 30,000. Are you kidding me? Oh, he's not even budging either. 500? No, you know what? I'm not accepting less than 500 for you. I'd probably go 250 if someone offered it, or somewhere between the two. But I'm going to piss him off. I think it's worth it to keep him. We need to keep him for the season at the very least. Let's go. Look, we'll negotiate the offer at least with them to try and ease his concerns. 300k, so that's 50k every 6 months. That's basically running costs for a lot of our team sorted. I mean, obviously our wages have gone up this season, but still. And then, yeah, let's try 150 up front. After 5 appearances, I want another 200, 150. 150, that's 600k. I don't think there's a chance they're going to accept this, but okay, it's going up. It's definitely going up. It's kind of annoying that they're determined it's going to be a 30k offer, and then you go, I'm not accepting less than 150. They go, yeah, cool, we'll buy that. That is fine by us. No, we'll go for the yearly. We'll make it a bit fairer on them. It's going to be a bit more of a bulk payment each year, but still, we'll go 450, so it's 150k a year. Let's try this. I think they're going to reject this outright now. Yeah, okay. He's about to kick off. Okay, he hasn't kicked off, so that's a bonus at the very least. But yeah, I might have to start offering him out for, I'll offer him out for a high amount if no one's interested. I think that sort of advances his happiness coming back when he realised that no one's going to pay what we value him at. Tommy Backwell is off to join South Shields. Enjoy your time there, my friend. We will see how you're looking when you get back. Although, to be honest, I wish you weren't still here at all. And now, great, we've got some sort of squad revolt because players want Ajani Birchall to be able to leave. I'm not in the business of letting good players leave and weakening our squad. I think that's fine. It's apparently not. What good is it keeping it here, though, if he doesn't want to be here? There's something admirable about the way you're sticking up for a teammate here. That shows good loyalty, but it's time to drop it and get on with the games now. Okay, well, 3 of them are let down. Adiemo's disappointed. So I can see I'm not going to win you over. That's fine. So now Birchall is saying he's going to leave on a free transfer at the end of the season. Now, I mean, if I can only get 150 or so for him, I think I would prefer him stick around just because I'm really struggling to replace him at the moment. There's not really that many good wingers out there, but I'm going to discuss it with him and say, oh God, there's not many options here. Either we'll let him go for free at the end of the season, we'll sell him before he gets to the end of his contract, or we'll leave him rotting in the reserves. I don't want to do threaten. I think I'm just going to have to agree to sell him, and we might just lower the asking price, because I'm trying to get 600, 700 at the moment, and maybe if I could get 400, I mean, that would still be a massive boost to the club. So yeah, I think I'm just going to go for it. I'm not thrilled with this, but it will give us, I suppose, selling him will give us a lot more money to be able to, pay someone, because I'm struggling to find someone who I can afford. But selling him will raise the bar off who I can afford. And even if I can't get someone who's up to Birchall's standards, it will help at the very least. So let's offer him out think I've just offered him out, actually. Yeah, I've just offered him out. I'll see if anything comes back off that, and if not, I might offer him out for a slightly lower price. That's my captain for the season. I think we're still going to go with Ollie Gofford, and I think I'm going to give it to Leo Hamblin for vice-captain. Jack Wadham is still not signed to a permanent contract here. I might re-sign him if I can't find someone else to fill the hole that he has left, but as it stands, I think the two of them are going to be, they're both relatively first-teamers, and I think that will work out quite well for us. On the plus side, Gareth Williams is going to be joining us, the Welsh winger, very, very, very Welsh name. He looks pretty good, to be honest. 15 dribbling, 13 first touch. He's reasonably fast. He's not like, a pace demon or anything. He's more of a right-sided player, but obviously he can sort of play up front and can play on the left side if needed. I'm sure I could get him up to speed on both sides if required, but I sort of had him in mind because in case we need to use Agbenone up front, we've got another right winger there. I don't like just having one person for position, and right winger and right back, that's the current status that we are. But I think Gareth Williams is going to be a good option for us. £300 a week, so he's not, he's not cheap, and he's going to cost us quite a bit if he scores quite a lot of goals for us. But I think overall that is a good deal. So welcome to the club, Gareth. So now we're all caught up on the events of the last 2-3 months. Let's get into the match against Gateshead with quite a bit of a new team, to be honest. So if I take a look at the league standings, well, the season preview, we are expected to struggle. We're down in 20th. I don't think we've got anyone up here. Nope. We've got absolutely nobody in the Media Dream 11. If we look at key players throughout the league, Birchel's on there, and Yaya Boyang's on there. So we've got 2 good players in that, but that is pretty much it, unfortunately. So we'll have to see how this goes. I have obviously still got a few offers in here and there. We've got players that might be coming, players that might be leaving, like Kant and Helliwell are almost definitely going to be leaving. I did just offer them out for £1,000 each because neither of them are really going to get on the pitch this season, so might as well cash in as much as we can. Helliwell frees up quite a bit of wage as well. But forget about that. Let's go to the game. Now, what do I want to play? Do we want to stick to our normal, wide formation? Or do we want to bring things in a little bit and maybe go for a 4-1-3-2, which I'm thinking might work. But if we're going to do this, then I'm going to have to spend quite a bit of time looking at our tactics. And you know what? I think we're going to stick with our normal 4-3-3 for now, purely because, Birchall is one of our best players and he is fully fit, I believe. I can't actually see him right now, but I know he's here somewhere. We'll be able to get Bojang on the team. We might go for a 4-3-3 without the defensive mid, maybe. Anyway, let's get cracking on putting this together and we'll see how things look. So I actually think this is how we're going to be lining up. We've got Jackson in goal. We need T Jackson now because we've also got Lewis Jackson coming. We've got Hamblin on the left, Shepherd, Lewis Jackson in the middle, Snardray at right back, Turnbull defensive mid ahead of Wadham. We've got Bojang and Archer in midfield. I've changed Bojang's role to a centre mid on automatic, so he sort of switches between the 3 roles. I wanted a centre mid on attack because I do quite like a centre mid on attack, but I don't think we can justify throwing 4 men forward, a lot of the time, especially in this league. Archer has moved back to a deep line playmaker. I might switch him to an advanced playmaker depending on how things are going, but we'll see. We've got Birch on the left, Agbenone on the right, and we've gone with Clark up front, and I've put him as a poacher just for now because that's where he excels, and I think that might work out. He is absolutely fantastic at finishing, great first touch, great heading, so just having him up front, I think he'll be able to get on quite a few challenges, to be honest. We have got Lennon Wielden on the bench in case we want to mix things up a bit and go with a big man instead, who's actually shorter, but a lot stronger, and he's not quite as fast, but better heading, better strength. So I think as a target man, he makes sense. And in a formation with 2 up front, those 2 could potentially play incredibly well together. But I want to see how this goes first. I'm not expecting much. It is the first game of the season, and we tend to get absolutely destroyed in those, while we're still sort of adjusting to the league, if that makes sense. But yeah, my subs bench is one place that I am struggling a bit. At the moment, I've got with Mitchell, Gofford, Morehouse, Gareth Williams for wing cover, and Wielden for striker cover. But we might move that around. We've got a few people on heavy workload, so this is definitely not going to be the lineup for every game. We're going to be trying a few different options out in the first half of the season. But hopefully, by the time we come back after this game, we'll have a better idea of where we stand. So yeah, we're just going to stop waffling now and get on with it. I do want to play Jackson ahead of Wright. I'm going to give it to Jackson for now. He's been with us for longer. And, he's down as an important player, so it makes more sense. But yeah, let's just get into the game for now. And okay, Gateshead, I've got Oakley Cannoneer up front. Oh, God. He's absolutely kills every single season he seems to. I'll take a look at him. Nobody expects the results to get out there without any pressure on you. What are you looking complacent for, Birchall? Right, inspired. Right, everyone apart from Archer is motivated, relaxed or pleased. Either way, we're doing well. So, Gateshead are in a 5-3-2. Ugh, of course, the formation that beats us almost every time. Chelmsford in our standard 4-3-3. A very different looking Chelmsford. Well, some positions are looking very different. But let's just get into the match. 1,639 fans here to see us today. Let's hope we can put on a show for them. Quiet first 10 minutes, not a whole lot happening. Also, no, not a whole lot happening. We've had 7 shots in the first 12 minutes of the game, which seems insane, especially as none of them have been good enough to show. Long ball over. Guinness Walker picks it up on the near side to us. Kirby looking to put a cross in, maybe. Curls a shot in. That was an absolutely peach of an effort if it had gone in. But no such luck for them. Now Tommy Jackson with a long ball out wide to Tanadre, who is dilly-dallying on the ball a little bit too much. But Jackson gets a nice ball over. Agbenone headers it on. Tries to get onto his own pass there. What is happening here? Okay. Defender gets the ball away. Bojang plays it back to Jackson. A nice ball over again, but there's just nobody there to get it. Womble. Is that Womble? Womble? Something like that. Archer gets it back out to Tanadre. A lovely outside of the boot pass. Ends up falling to Agbenone. Crosses the back post. Birchall gets onto it and it just goes over. Hits the roof of the net. Such good pressure from us here. Like, that's absolutely insane. We've had 8 shots to their 1. But none of them are particularly good. We're on a 0.43 XG. And I can't help but think we're going to be punished for this lack of decisiveness. But now Malone is picking the ball up wide. Could this be an absolute howler, please? No, it doesn't look like it's going to be. Ball comes to Archer. No, it doesn't. Turnbull gets the ball away out to Agbenone. Tanadre. We're keeping the ball well. That's got to be said. We're not. We're bad. Always. Every single time you comment on something, the exact opposite happens. And now Shepherd to Bojang. Birchall looking to get a pass through. Clark gets dispossessed. Not quite good enough. Kirby with the ball over. Now we've got Mayer potentially one-on-one. Oh, Jackson rushed out. Managed to get beaten to the ball. It fell to Cannonier. And like I said, the man does not miss very often. Just a little ball over. No one deals with it. Is that Shepherd? Yeah, Shepherd have pushed up too far. Jackson just cannot deal with the ball. And it falls to them. And we're 2-1. Well, we're 1-0 down. And we're 1-0 down in the 30th minute. Oh, Archer free kick. Is he going to try and curl this in? Oh, what a cheeky free kick. That's absolutely insane. Does a little river dance to celebrate. Absolutely fantastic. Keeper leaves that whole side of the net open. And he just rockets it in the bottom corner. What a peach of a free kick. That could be goal of the season. That's insane. We're back in the game almost instantly. A long Jackson goal kick. Oh, doesn't fall to anybody. Mayer picks it up in midfield. Gets it out to Guinness Waller, who passes to nobody, but Bishop's still going to get on the end of it. Gets the ball in. Cannonier hits the bar. He's got to have been offside there, yeah. He was a good 6 feet in front of absolutely everyone else on the team. So we've got a few minutes till half time. The whole UI just reloaded. I don't know what that was for. We've got one ball hitting the ball up. Guinness Walker gets the ball through. Jackson collects that one without too many issues, but it was a little bit scary after his previous error. Tanadre with the ball over. Clark can't get on the end of it. Clark's not got on the end of much, to be honest. It's a little worrying. Jackson now with a long ball out wide. Can Birchall get the end of that? No, he can't. Baldwin to Tanner. Another ball over towards Cannonier. Gets the ball inside and Bishop can't score. Was that Lewis Jackson? Yes, it was. A vital interception as the striker went to take his shot. Kirby. Long ball in and someone gets it away. Is that Clark yet? No, Agbenone's on the break. It's one-on-one with the defender. He's just taking his time. He's let 4 of them get back. Oh, and that's the end of the highlight. Oh, give me false hope. And yeah, we're going to go in at half-time. 1-1, which it could be a lot worse. We had such a good first 20 minutes looking at the XG. And I mean, our smallest XG jump of the game might actually be the one that we scored. That's a little bit nuts. Anyway, into the dressing room. We're doing well getting shots away. Keep going. Everyone looks delighted. Absolutely loving it. Clark and Birchall have not been playing fantastically, so I'm actually going to take Birchall off, and this might be a controversial opinion. But I want to give young Gareth Williams a go. He is inside forward on attack, he's completely fine with. Very good at dribbling, very good at first touch, relatively fast, work rate, technique. Like, he could be a fantastic signing for us, but I don't think I'm going to leave him an inside forward. He's best as an inverted winger, but he just hasn't quite got the shooting to be an inside forward, I want to say. So I'm going to move him to an attacking inverted winger instead. He will cover sort of this area, which is probably something we're lacking a little bit with Archer playing deep line playmaker. But actually, yeah, forget about it. I'm moving him up to an advanced playmaker. I know that our main style of attack is long balls over, but I just don't think it's really working out all that well for us. I'm going to move you to a permanent support option, because it seems to be what we're going with anyway. I don't want to move to positive beans as we're away from home. Birchall has not been great, and even though he's probably one of our best players, his head's not in the game at the moment, so I'm going to take him off. Ball cross gets looped in. There's an overhead kick that comes off the post. That would have been insane. I wouldn't have even minded conceding that, other than the fact that he got it off in the first place. Long ball over, comes to nothing. Archer has been by far and away our best player so far. Seems to be on the ball a lot. He has been booked though, which is a little bit concerning. Although that rating also might be heavily down to the fact that he scored the goal. Jackson picks the ball up at our back. Gets it to Jackson. Long ball up. Clark tries to get the end of it, but he can't manage it. Hassani. Long ball over. This should be Jackson's to collect. He does quite comfortably. Bringing it out. Hamblin gets the ball away. Agbenone can't do anything with it. And if Hamblin cuts it out, Agbenone gets another try. Between the two of them. Ball goes over towards Archer. No one goes for it. Agbenone picks it up again. Gets the ball to Archer. Clark, a 16 finishing. The man gets one chance so far in the first 60 minutes and he managed to score it. Absolutely brilliant finish there. I was really surprised that Archer passed to him, but I'm so glad that he did. Agbenone had 45 attempts on this in this play to make something happen. But yeah, lovely little pass there. First time finish into the far side. Clark manages to score a beauty. Now we've got a kick-off highlight. The Wombles and Alec Baldwin stepping up. Nothing comes of it. Hamblin picks it up at the back. So he's going to look to get the ball away himself. Long ball over. Hassani picks it up. Comes to Tanner. Another long ball over. Kananir trying to get the end of it. He manages to. Goes to the back post. Oh, that's just some bad communication. The ball gets headed in. Jackson. It's going to be a confusing sentence to say. Jackson in goal dives for it, but Jackson in defence gets a foot on it and knocks it straight to the other striker. So it wasn't really Jackson's fault. It was more Jackson's fault, I would say. But yeah, a little unfortunate, bad communication, a little of a misstep between the two. They've never played together before. You can understand how it happens. But I think let's drop and encourage, try and get the team, spirits back up after an unfortunate goal there. Not really working out too well. Not sure what to do here. Agbenone's not been playing great. Agbenone, Tommy Jackson are our two lowest scorers. So I think for the last 10 minutes, I'm going to pull it out. Although I might have to make a few changes to make this happen. Like I said, Agbenone's not been great, so we'll put Jack Morehouse on the pitch. We'll switch these two over. Archer can be a deep line playmaker. Morehouse and Mazzali's covering the wing a bit more. Bojang's centre mid on attack, covering this a bit more. We've still got 3 attacking players. And Turnbull in behind them to try and break up any plays. Maybe have him as a defensive ball-winning midfielder instead. I'm sort of tempted to switch him to a half-back just to, give extra cover to the defence, but I don't think that's going to be necessary. I've just brought Williams on. I'm going to leave Williams on there for now as maybe, Clark's still going to be a poacher. Williams, I think, almost like a deep-lying forward might make sense. So he's given a bit more, I'll switch these two over as well, actually. Oh, I really hate doing this. Williams deep line forward on this side because he's covering this sort of area, whereas Bojang is covering this area. You've got Williams dropping a bit deep, Morehouse covering the wings a bit more, and then Clark stays up while Bojang is attacking behind him. That, in theory, that makes sense to me. This is a positive formation, so we're sort of throwing a bit of caution to the wind here. But I'm hoping it sort of works out. I mean, nothing's really coming of it so far. So for the last few minutes, I'm going to take Clark off and put Wielden on. Have him as attacking target man. He's better as a supporting target man. That seems unusual. But I don't think that really works when we've got a deep line forward on there with him. We'll bring him on, let him make his debut. Well done on the pitch. Got 5 minutes of added time, and we're in the 91st minute, and they've got a throw in, but we managed to get it away. It only comes out as far as Womble, though. Guinness Walker looks to make a cross in, but no, it falls to Morehouse. Can we get this ball away, please? Nice ball over. Oh, Wilden nearly got the end of it. He looks massive, even though he's smaller than Clark. It's weird. Shepherd, a ball over to Bishop, but Hamblin's going to collect it. We just can't get rid of this. No. No. What? That doesn't look like he even touched him. How is that a penalty? Kirby steps up and sends Jackson the wrong way. I feel like we've been absolutely screwed here. Like, what is going on? I was so happy with how this match was going. Even a draw. It's so rare that we get anything out of our first game of the season. I'm going to drop another quick encourage, but we're in the 95th minute, 96th, full time. So we have been absolutely screwed there, in my opinion. Maybe we shouldn't have, changed the formation around, but it was a defensive mix-up that was the problem. And there was no real changes to defence. It was more our attacking play. So, maybe that didn't work out. But with the underdogs out there, you gave it your best chance. Where are Gateshead actually due to finish in the league? Because we might have been massive underdogs there. Like, I know we were, somewhat underdogs, as we expected to be in the relegation zone. But yeah, Gateshead are expected to finish 7th, which is a playoff spot, isn't it? Yeah, it's the bottom playoff spot. So that, we're 15th. We're performing above expectations. A little heartbreaking that, I might still look to, make some changes. I don't know. Clark got a goal in his debut. We had quite a lot of debuts. Debuts are always quite difficult for the players. I think you never get the best performances out of them, especially when, 6 players played throughout the game who have never played for the club before. So it does sometimes take a few games to get bedded in. As you've seen in previous seasons, we quite often lose the first game of the season just because we're making quite a few changes to the team. When it starts getting to the higher divisions and you're maybe not making such massive changes. I think last season is the only time that we didn't change half of the team pretty much as we got promoted. So we've still got a few improvements to make. I am still looking for another right back, potentially another left back, even if it's just to give Hamblin some support. If a fantastic defender comes up, we'll go for that. We've got £890 left in the wage budget, so I'm hoping we could probably get 3 players in for that. And obviously, with Helliwell potentially leaving and he's on 150, Harry Cant's on 60. So that's potentially an extra £210 on top of that. So that's 1.1 thousand. We've got an offering for Liam Shepherd, who is a right back. And he's, is he going to completely change the team? I don't think so. But he is more than good enough to play. If we compare him to someone like Tonadre, if I could just get the menus correct. They're different kinds of players. He's definitely, he's got a lot more going forward than Tonadre does. Not quite as good aerial, defensive or physical. But I definitely think he could do somewhat of a job for us, and it's cover for a lot of positions. He's going to be an emergency right wing for us, can play centre back, left back if needed. Mostly going to be playing as a right back, obviously. But it would be very nice if we got him. However, unlikely it's looking as more offers come. Oh, he had a lot more offers than this before. Matlock Town are well below us. So, if we could get him, that would be a nice little option. I haven't actually made a decision on that yet. We've just been sort of throwing out offers absolutely everywhere we can. So I'm going to keep on looking. We are going to go forward quite a bit, I would say. I don't really know where we're going to be going for. I would say the earliest point we might be back is the FA Cup 4th qualifying round, always a big game for us. That's where we traditionally come back each season. But being as that's our first game in the Cup this season, and we're going to be, there's every chance we're going to be drawn against a much lesser opponent. We might wait and do the first round instead. But yes, so we're going to come back 16th of October at the very earliest. Might be a bit later depending on how things are looking. We'll have to see how the league pans out. We might find out there's a team somewhere around this area that ends up being very good or in very close competition with us, either for relegation or promotion. This is a very long-winded way of saying I've got absolutely no idea where we're coming back. But either way, thank you very much for watching this episode. I know it's probably been quite a long one. I haven't actually started the edit yet on this one. But if it wasn't an absurdly long one, then I've cut out so much footage because I dragged it all into Sony Vegas when I finished recording the last transfer clip yesterday. And I think it was at about an hour and 40 minutes. So there's going to be a hell of a lot of culling to do. So I will get started on that to make sure you can see this soon. That's a very weird way of doing this. Thank you very much for watching. If you've enjoyed, maybe leave a like or comment down below. It really does help out a great deal and it means a hell of a lot to me. Like I say, we'll be back at some point in the next few months. Going to get a good chunk of the season done and we'll see where we stand. Subscribe to make sure you don't miss the epic catch-up that we have on the second episode of every season. We've got so many games, so many goals to get through and potentially a big match against someone. I don't really know who. But like I say, subscribe to make sure you don't miss it and I'll see you next time.